and maybe they belong here in the workforce?
I want to work with them, and in some cases we're sending them back to their country with a pass back in legally, and we're doing things that are very difficult to do.
What is happening, people? So I wanted to do a video because I saw a TikTok recently where they were talking about this whole situation with the migrant workers, and pretty much basically what they were saying was that they're gonna have to bring them back, a lot of them, and it's just crazy because they're going around rounding up all these people, and it just seems like this stuff that they were doing was really no reason for them to do it that way. And now they're sending these people back, and even some of them are being sent with a ticket to come back. That's a crazy situation. Now, obviously, whether you're on the left side or on the right side in this situation, I wanted to get you guys' opinion about this, because the reality here is that we know, and most people know, that we do need farm workers. That's just a fact. And even if you don't want to agree with it, there's some people that need to pick up these fruits. There's people that need to go and work on these construction sites and do this hard labor work. And I think, the idea that they thought that the people from the city were going to go in and work in the fields and all that stuff, that's not going to work. And I don't even know why they thought that was going to happen. And actually, it's proving to be, what everybody thought it was going to happen. I mean, now I have a clip for you guys. It's a little bit longer than the original clip at the beginning. It's a version of that. But basically, in the clip, we have the president basically telling us what he's doing, which is basically, they're sending some of these people back, and they're giving them like basically a ticket back to come back to the U.S. to work, because they just don't have any other options. The farm workers are leaving, and the farms are closing down. A lot of people are losing their business. A lot of the farmers are losing their businesses, construction sites, even hotel workers. And even in this article here, that Trump, they were talking about Trump, and they were saying that, that they have to do something about the farmers, and So I'm gonna play a clip for you guys first. So obviously leave us a comment and let us know what you think about this. Whether you're on the right side of the situation or the left side, politically. I'd like to get your opinion about this. I mean, I honestly think we need the people, but some people, they're very far right or far left about this issue, and I'd like to get everybody's opinion about this. Of course, this is an open platform where I like to talk about these type of things and definitely get your opinion. So check this out.
Very differently, and maybe they belong here in the workforce?
I want to work with them, and in some cases we're sending them back to their country with a pass back in legally, and we're doing things that are...
With a pass back legally. See what you just said? Pass back legally. That means that pretty much that he's just basically sending them for a show, and it's such a waste of money in my opinion. But anyway, go ahead. I'm just going to continue.
That are very difficult to do and very complex, but it works really well. We're sending them back, and then they're schooling, they're learning, they're coming in legally. We have a lot of that going on, but we're taking care.
Schooling. I wonder what he means by schooling. What are they teaching them? Anyway, eventually, I assume we're all going to find out eventually what's going to happen. What are they actually learning, whatever's in the schooling.
Care of our farmers. We can't let our farmers not have anybody. These are these people that you can't replace them very easily. People that.
And that's what I've been saying. A lot of people have been saying you cannot replace these people, whether you like it or not. It's just these are hardworking people that honestly they do the hardest work out there. Honestly, I mean, the regular city folk, they're not ready to go out there and work like that. I don't know why they used to think. I guess they were thinking that they were gonna go out there and and do all this stuff. I don't know what kind of thinking it was that. I mean, you can't just think that people that are legal here are gonna go out and work unless you're paying them, buku money. People are not gonna go out there. And even if you are paying them good money, if you're working doing HVAC, or you're doing some type of trade, you're not gonna leave that trade to go out and pick fruit. I mean, that's not gonna happen unless you have some type of maybe like a record or something. Maybe I could see the people that have been to jail. Maybe they can go out there, but I don't know how long they can do that kind of backbreaking work. I met some people that have been like that, I don't know, they've been in situations like that. So like I said, I'd like to get you guys' opinion about this. Obviously, it's always interesting to see what people think about this the situation.
live in the inner city are not doing that work. They're just not doing that work. And they've tried, we've tried, everybody tried. They don't do it. These people do it naturally.
See, what's happening here with the situation is they thought that they were going to get these people there, and it was going to be this easy transition, and it's not, it's not. I think, people that are coming from other countries, we take for granted these people, and we think that, these people are here without documentation. 'Cause I don't want to call them, the I word, but we take for granted how these people work. And I hate to, sound like I'm in one side of the story, but because I'm not really, I don't like to take sides here, but, we take for granted what these people do. And unfortunately, we're starting to learn. And this is, the economy, it's not going to help the economy. Whether you think it's going to help the economy, I don't think it is, because I think, when you look at the situation, people are working. The farms are literally running, basically without any workers. So that means that, your grocery bill is going to be more expensive. So you're going to have to pay people more money to get the stuff picked up. So you're going to have to hire real people, which I think, it's a good thing if people want to do that kind of work. But the reality of it is that, most people don't want to do that work. Some people want to do it. It's only a small percentage of that. And then that small percentage, you're going to have to pay them a decent wage. Now, it doesn't mean that the migrant or whatever, and I want to be clear about this, doesn't mean that the migrant should be getting paid little money too, but the fact is that they do take little money, less money than the regular American, and that's just the reality of it. And some people don't want to admit it because, you're hurting somebody's feelings or whatever, but that's the reality. They take less pay for their work, and they do it, and they do it fast. They do it fast. I think you have to pay them, I believe you have to pay them like for a bucket, a certain amount of dollars for a bucket or something like that. For a bucket, they could make, $100. That bucket, you could pay that migrant maybe $10 for each bucket, or maybe less. Who knows? Again, I don't even know how that stuff works. But, when you look at the math, it just adds up. Anyway, let me just continue playing the video here.
Surely. I said, what happens if they get it to a farmer the other day? What happens if they get a bad back? He said, they don't get a bad back, sir, because if they get a bad back, they die. I said, that's interesting, isn't it? These are very, in many ways, they're very, very special people. Okay, go ahead.
No. Okay, so, here we go. So you did get the highest number of votes in Texas, so that's true.
Anyway, so they're going into this boat thing. So, like I said, guys, leave me a message below. Leave a comment below. Let us know what you think about this. Obviously, it looks like it's gonna be. Looks like we're kind of. This is kind of an FAFO kind of moment here. In my opinion, because the situation looks bad. Honestly, I mean, especially if this continues on, we're gonna be at a point where the groceries are gonna be very expensive. We're already paying a bunch of money in the groceries. And, gas is not really that low. So this is where this problem is, because our president literally ran on that reality. He ran to literally lower the prices on food and all that stuff. And, obviously other things as well. But, people are expecting that, and you're just not seeing it in the grocery. When you go into to Whole Foods or you go to the supermarket, you're not seeing that. You're not seeing that. And whether people want to admit that or not, it is what it is. So like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let us know what you think. Leave us a comment, and we'll see y'all in the next video.